Welcome to my chaotic basement. Actually, things are better now than they have been for the past year because most of the Predictas are gone. They're cool to look at, but they don't store that well. Especially when you have a bunch of them. You can't stack them, and they need some elbow room so you can rotate the screens. Got a few more to get out of here. That will help a lot. But while I've got some room, I want to start reorganizing things. Now, I got a comment recently about shelving, and I was quick to dismiss it, but that started me thinking that, yeah, I am making poor use of the space. The reason I dismiss shelving is that there is cheap paneling for half of the basement. There's really no structure behind it. And below that is concrete. So we're in the basement, it's half below ground, half above ground. So there's a ledge that runs around about 3.5 feet from the floor. I think you can see it there. So I can't hammer into the concrete is what I'm getting at. And above that, I'm not sure. I'd have to hunt around to see if there's firm structure to put in shelves that could hold a TV. The TVs are very, very heavy. But what it got me thinking was, yeah, I do need to, or I could be making a lot better use of what limited space I have if I build a custom shelving unit. Now, you may recall a while ago, I picked up some of these Simpson Strong Tie kits, and I built a little mini workbench. Well, you can also build shelves with these. Let me just show that on one of the sides somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Something like that. I may buy another one or two of these, or just buy some of their special hangers. Well, what I want to do, what I'm thinking of doing, is figure out what's a good average height so that I can put console sets underneath. For example, I have this computer desk here, which is going to go away or be moved elsewhere. And I have a TV you guys haven't seen yet, which is first Motorola rectangular color TV. So if I figure out a good height that I can put sets under it, the consoles, see there's a larger one there, so this is a little bit too low, but if I get something like this, and then put tabletop sets above the consoles on a platform, and then maybe one more tier above that for the little guys, the 7-inch sets. So that way I can go 3 high. Biggest sets, of course, on the bottom, medium-sized sets, and then the smallest sets on top. I think that will go a long way towards, getting it so you can actually see some of my nicer sets, and I can see them and enjoy them. And some of the stuff has to go. That rack, it's just not working out. It's a vintage rack. It's cool looking. I like the crinkle finish on it and such. But it's just, the dimensions of it are not right for modern stuff. It's not deep enough. And even the width, it's just, I was probably made for telephone equipment or something like that, and half my rack stuff just won't even fit in it, so that's going bye-bye. So between that computer table going out, that going out, and rearranging that stuff, I have a good, 20 feet from going from left to right. So I figure I'll start out by making an 8-foot long unit, because I can get 8-foot long 2x4s. I don't think I'll need 2x6s like I used on my workbench, but it'll be similar to my workbench. You can either buy these parts in this kit form, these were on sale so I bought some, or you can get the individual metal pieces. So you need to supply your own lumber with this, but it comes with hardware. It comes with screws and these special metal brackets that you use on all the tie points. But you can just buy these individually or in packs without buying this exact kit. So I'll dream something up. You can kind of get a taste of what something like this. But I would eliminate that and make this taller. Basically, yeah, this. But just imagine that section not being there. So full height, and then a space for medium-sized sets, and then put stuff on top. It seems like a pretty simple plan to me. I think the real challenge, unfortunately, in this day and age, is going to be finding straight 8-foot long 2x4s at the home improvement center. Hey, let's do something a little bit different. Let's make a scale model. I have a bunch of balsa wood. We can pretend these are 2x4s. Got some hot glue heating up, and let's see what we can put together. Yeah, something like that. Now, yes, of course, from the weight it may sag. I may need to add a support in the middle, and I will use some joist hangers and put additional supporting front to back, and we can put some small sets on top. Did some rough measurements. I think the vertical piece is 5 feet tall. Will do. And I picked one set in particular, a Zenith porthole. I'm going to make it just high enough that that can slide under. The other consoles I want to put under here are all shorter than that. And I have one tall tabletop I definitely want to put in there, so that has to be high enough for that guy. So my dimensions are fixed. It's just a matter of running over to the lumberyard and seeing what I can dig up for supplies. Hey, what do you know? I was pleasantly surprised they had a rather nice selection of 2x4s at the Home Improvement Center. They had a couple, it looks like fresh shipments in, so I had hundreds to choose from. I picked out about a dozen nice straight 8-foot long 2x4s, Douglas fir, pine of some sort, whatever species they use these days. Only about $3 each. And I got some joist hangers for 2x4s, some small guys, and some angle brackets, and a box of 100 of these, I guess you call them lag bolts or something like that. Made by the same company, Simpson Strong-Tie, that makes this kit. All together with this kit and all this stuff, all the 2x4s, maybe $100, maybe a little bit more. Not bad. Essentially, I'm going to be building this, but instead of 4 feet wide, it's going to be 8 feet wide. I'm going to leave out this front piece so I can slide consoles underneath. Then we'll put tabletops here and smaller tabletops up top. So the front, rather than having this pegboard in the back, I'm going to have the front legs extend all the way up as well, and we'll have another shelf up here. And there will not be a shelf down here. I'm going to leave out this front board. I have carpet down here. I put glides on my heavy sets so I can just simply slide them right underneath. So I won't be using the Simpson Strong-Ties up front because I won't have this piece. That's why I got these guys. So I'll have a leg come down and I'll have a piece going to the back, and it'll join up there. Alrighty, so the main thing left is for me to determine the exact height and where exactly this is going to be. I haven't quite determined what sets I want to put under this. I have some recent acquisitions, most notably this guy, the Stromberg Carlson TS16. It'd be nice to slide under it, if for no other reason to get it out of harm's way. But it's also pretty darn tall. If I made it this tall, every set I've got, Dumont, Clifton, anything I've got will fit under because this is so tall. But the taller I make that, the less height I have. And you can see I've got a tabletop set on top, and this is one that I definitely want to have on the next tier, which doesn't leave much headroom in this area of the basement because we've got this beam going across. If I was to build it tall enough to have that, then a shelf, then this, then a shelf, there wouldn't be enough room to put anything up in the third tier. Well, with a project like this, you just have to pick a corner and get started, it seems to me. So I'm actually building this upside down to start out with. I picked a corner, took one of the 8-foot long 2x4s, one of the 17s, and I decided, after a lot of mental deliberation, on 5 feet. So you can see, this is how much room I'm left from here to here, which is about 14 inches. I decided on that because I would like to get at least some of my tabletop sets up there. Something like this would fit. Something like that will not. But I'd like to get more than just cramming 7-inch sets up there. So I'll be able to get some smaller portable sets up here as well. We'll see how it goes. I suppose it's not inconceivable, if I chose to, I could back some screws out and lower a shelf if I needed to. At any rate, so I picked a corner, and this is how they go together. So you have a vertical piece, a side piece, and then a long piece. And this is what the Simpson Strong Ties look like. So it wraps all three around. So none of the boards overlap. They just butt against each other. But all told, there are 12 holes in this. And rather than using the fasteners that came with it, I bought these beefier ones. Same company, but they're a little bit more heavy duty. These are Phillips head, whereas these are 1/4 inch. And I didn't realize when I bought them that it includes a driver. So that's nice. I'm not pre-drilling or anything. This is fairly soft pine. The sharp point on that, I'm just kind of eyeballing it and pushing the sharp point in the center of the hole in the metal, and they drive in really easy. But once you get all 12 of them in there, that is really solid. I may run out. I didn't realize there were quite that many, so I bought a 100 pack, but at 12 per corner, and then 12 on each stage. So whatever 12 times 8 is that 96? Yeah, okay, I might just make it, except for the bottom where I'm going to need to use some angle brackets. Oh, sorry, and of course the joist hangers. So no, I will not. If I want to use those for everything, no, I will not have enough. Oh yeah, that's right, joist hangers. Yeah, they're a combination of bashing these tabs if you choose to, and I can drive some screws into these. It's a little annoying that they're bowed out, so you have to squeeze them in to get on the 2x4. But notice there are no holes on this side, so these are going to go in periodically, yeah, I guess I will kind of, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. They're mainly there to hold weight, because the shelf panels I bought 2x4 sheets of plywood rather than a 2x8 sheet. So I'm going to have a joint at some point, and I'll definitely want to have some support under that. Anyways, the main thing is to get the outside frame done first, then we can worry about the actual shelving. So I'm going to do all 4 corners and then flip this thing over. Alrighty, doing the other end now. Same deal. Once I get those 2 done, I'm going to flip it upright. Well, after much consideration and deliberation, this is what I ended up doing. I did make it tall enough that I couldn't put some of my larger consoles underneath, and I'm sacrificing making it 3-tiered, so we're just going to have 2 big consoles down below, big tabletops on top. They're just realistic when there's just a little over 6 feet of ceiling height. It's just it's just being too impractical. Alright, so with that out of the way, I established my height so I could slide in the tallest set I want to put under. It's 39 inches from the bottom of this board to the floor. Finished framing it all in. I used angle brackets on the front because I don't have a cross piece, and for the rest I used those Simpson Strong Ties. For the platform with the plywood's going, I put an L bracket on the end to give a little support there, and I used some joist hangers and put a piece in here. I bought pre-cut 2x4 sheets of plywood so I could just slide them in, and they end right about here. Rather than putting the board all the way at the end, I figured I'd back it off a little bit. I don't think I'll need support really for just that little piece. If I need to, I'll add another one here, But since the sets are pretty long, most of the weight's really going to be here. It's not going to be pressing down in the middle, so I don't really think that's going to be a concern. Then the top is going to be open too, because I want to put in large sets. So there's only one piece of wood across the front, whereas we have 3 on the back. Technically this doesn't really need to be here. I could have just cut this down here, but I figure it kind of adds extra stability to the whole unit, which is, once all these 100+ screws are put in, this isn't going anywhere. So I'm going to slide down one sheet of plywood, and I have a little bit of work to do on the other side. Going to put L brackets down top and bottom, and we can call this done. Not the prettiest thing, but my goal is utilitarian. It can hold the weight. It will serve its purpose. After installing the last of the screws, I still had one task left before I could start putting sets up here. That was to treat the surface. Some of the sets I'm going to be putting up here weigh upwards of 100 pounds. They have hard rubber feet. I'm going to need to be sliding them and to position it. I don't want to have that against rough wood. It's going to wear down the feet. So I put on sanding sealer, sanded it with 320, and then just put on some thick water-based polyurethane. Unfortunately, it's going to take a few days to fully cure, so I just have to be patient. Meanwhile, I can start putting stuff under it. And as far as this awkward space behind, I think I might just use it to store picture tubes. It's deep enough I can put 10-inch sets there, I think. But certainly 7-inch test CRTs, scope CRTs, something like that. Stuff I don't need to get to too often, but if I do, I can reach back there and get it. After letting the polyurethane cure for a few days, I tossed a few sets and chassis up on it to see how it would work out. And it's great. There is no sag whatsoever. I'll be putting a little bit more weight on it, but not a whole lot more. So I would say this was a very successful endeavor. And my next challenge is to figure out what exactly I want to put out on display. I imagine it's going to rotate as sets come and go. For sure, the Majestic I restored a while ago is going to be out here. RCA ATS30 I picked up a few months back is going to come up here for sure. What's hiding underneath that towel? And we'll see what fits under here. I'll do a follow-up video when I get everything set up, because the other great thing about this, we have power. Which means, for the first time, really, since I moved to this house, I can not only have sets out on display nicely, but power them up. Which is a segue into a series I'm going to be starting soon, which is how to feed a nice, clean, strong signal into vintage TVs. And this box that just arrived is going to be a part of that. So I'm going to be talking about ATSC to NTSC conversion, HDMI to NTSC conversion, modulators, amplifiers, transmitters, all that good stuff. I've been teasing it for a while. I've got a whole pile of equipment to review and go through and play around with, so be looking for that in the very near future. For now, hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching.